everybody. They set a booby trap, and I won. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. I want to be really honest with you guys. I am seeing a therapist right now. I think everybody should be. But the other day, my therapist actually didn't show up for our appointment. I know. And so I started thinking about all the times that my dad didn't show up for me in my life. You know, graduations, recitals, California's Funniest Female. And I had to think about it. I had to decide, this is his problem and it's not my problem. And so then I felt fine. And then when I told my therapist, he charged me for the session anyway. So I'm having some money problems. Yeah. And it's been a hard couple of weeks. I just recently got mugged. Yeah, and it was really, I know you guys are thinking, what does she have? And you should have seen me before. You took everything. It was one of those be careful what you wish for sort of things, because I've been wishing for so long that a man would see something and just go for it without hesitating. But I should have been a little bit more specific, because that is not actually what I wanted. It was sort of my fault. I can admit when things are a little bit my fault. It was my idea to take a walk unchaperoned in Toluca Lake at 11 a.m. So that was really, I can admit, a little bit my fault. And he grabbed me by the arm and I looked him in the eye and I realized my horoscope was correct. Something interesting will happen to you today. So it was a good thing I went to Panda Express the day before, or I would have never seen anything coming. So I'm single. Single people, we like to clap for ourselves. Because we don't have anyone clapping for us. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, she's single? Yeah, I can sort of see that. I can see that being possible. But it's a funny thing, because I want to get married, but I don't want to date. I want to get married without having to do the work of dating. That's like saying, I want to win $1 million, but I don't want to join the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. So if anyone sees an attractive man around my age carrying a big check, just send him to my house, because I've solved 2 problems at once. I've done a little eHarmony. The last guy that I met, when we actually met in public, the very first thing I thought, as soon as I saw him, is I thought, you are not 5'10". This is very easy to figure out. I used to read the Hardy Boys. I am not 5'10". Therefore, if somebody approaches me and we are the same height, chances are they are not 5'10". It's like if you're going to lie, do something I'm not going to check up on. Like tell me, I saved 5 people from peril. I'm not going to ask you for their numbers and confirm it. I can do 200 sit-ups. We're at a restaurant. I'm not going to ask you to do them. That's just something I can admire for now, and then realize later on is a lie. There's a lot of things when you're meeting someone for the first time that you don't realize is going to happen. I did not realize that man was going to have a high-pitched, fluty voice. I did not realize that he was going to be wearing mom jeans on our date. And I did not realize that he was going to see me and immediately realize, we are not going to have dinner at 7 p.m. We are going to have coffee at 7 p.m. Now, I'm an Italian girl. I can eat a lot of food. I can eat a bowl of macaroni at any time of day. But do you know where they don't sell macaroni? It's right in the title. It is not called coffee bean, tea leaf, and big bowls of macaroni. So I was a little disappointed. I've been out with some really interesting characters that I've met from the internet. I went on a date with a professional clown. How do I know? Because I don't think anybody would admit to that unless it was actually true. you're on a date with a clown. Trust me, none of them are going to happen. He did not have a big red nose. The wig he wore was all wrong. He did not juggle my plates or cause me any amusement. And then I tried to ask him questions to get to know him better. Like, how was clown college? Do you pick double majors? How does that work? Who was your inspiration? How do you fit so many of you guys into one little car? How do you fit so much scarf into one sleeve? Why is so much about being a clown putting a lot of something into a little bit of space? Do you think Freud would have anything to say about that? But by the end of the day, I could tell that he liked me just because I asked him so many questions, which was only to keep myself awake. But I realized I had to cut it off because otherwise I was going to be that girl that married the clown and then broke his heart. And then I thought, what would that wedding be like? Like somebody comes up and it's like, are you with the bride or the groom? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Your shoes are 6 feet long and your hair is 6 feet wide. Unless you're my Uncle Bernie, I'm going to say you're with the groom. And his family rolls out of a Volkswagen and walks down the aisle to send in the clowns. And I get cold feet and I try to hide the ring and he pulls it out of my ear and marries me anyway. But I found an advantage. There's one really good advantage to if I was to marry a clown, and that would be if I was to get pregnant. The negative thing would be I would definitely have 11 kids at the same time. I would have 11 tuppence. But when I was pregnant, I would not look fat. Because of the so many. Okay, roll with me. But if you're feeling bad because none of those dates have worked out, I do find men other places. I was at Starbucks last week. And it was about 11 in the morning, where magic happens, the time that magic happens. And this man came up to me and he's like, well, is anyone sitting there? And so, obviously no. And so he decides he's going to come and sit with me. By the way, he's about 60 years old, and he's not the Clooney type. He's the other 60-year-old type. That's all I'm going to say. You can envision it. And immediately he starts telling me about all the things he has back at his place. All the video cassettes he has back at his place. He just got the entire Lone Ranger series on VHS. And wasn't I impressed? He says, you know the Lone Ranger. Bum ba da bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum. And I was like, that is not even the Lone Ranger, but I am not going to the Ponderosa this evening. And so then he says, I really want to get to know you better. Can I take you out? And so I said, and he was like, oh, so it's a no. And I was like, do I have to actually say the word? Can we just? He goes, so you're saying there's no chemistry? I was like, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. And he says, well, you know what? I guess it's true what they say about women. They're only interested in money. And then he takes his stuff and he walks away. And he's gone. And so I was like, wait a second.